Good evening and welcome to the first nationwide CE5 UK HICE national broadcast. So this has been a long time in the coming, although we've done multiple broadcasts over the course of the past couple of years. I think this is the first time I think it's high time to start doing our own broadcast on a monthly basis and introducing a lot of other key factors here, sort of introducing you to various personnel across the country who really deserve to be given a voice now based on the strength and volume of achievements that are being made with CE5 in the UK now. It's an extremely exciting time, not only for the disclosure movement but for the CE5 movement. As many of you will be aware, Dr. Greer is in the UK. We're very lucky to have him over here. I think this is his first time since, I'm not sure if it's 2013 or 2015 that he's been over, but obviously many of you will be coming to the conference, which is in the Lighthouse Theatre in Camberwell tomorrow. If you are coming, be advised if you're driving, unfortunately the London congestion charge is active between the hours of 12 and 6 p.m. in the evening, so that's an extra £15 on top of the parking charge if you are driving. If you're coming by public transport, it's much easier to get to. It's either a brisk 10-minute walk from Oval Tube Station or a brisk 15-minute walk from Denmark Hill train station. So both are pretty easy to get to. I'm sure you've all got Google Maps or Apple Maps, so it's nice and easy. But yeah, this will be the first time in many years that Dr. Greer has been over, so it's going to be a pleasure seeing him talk on disclosure. So many of the topics that he's been mentioning for the past 24 years now or more have really come to fruition. I'll come on to a few of these points in a minute. But it's really great to be able to call on his wisdom and have him over in the UK now, so really looking forward to that. I'm going to be there tomorrow, as I think are most of the group leads from across the UK. For those of you who didn't know, you've still got time to buy tickets for this event tomorrow if you want to come. If you go on to Dr. Greer's Sirius website, you will find a link there to the London webinar. It's not just a webinar, you can watch it online if you want, if you can't attend in person, or get a ticket and come and see it at the Lighthouse Theatre in Camberwell. We have negotiated a discount, very pleased about that. Dr. Greer has granted us a discount for members of the UK community, so if you just enter the code CE5UK, all caps, no spaces, into the discount box provided, and it'll give you a small discount. It's not huge, but we're very pleased to get one anyway, very grateful, and we're really looking forward to seeing him there tomorrow. So as I said, this is an extraordinarily exciting time for the community, for the movement, across the entire planet. You're seeing a volume of contact activity increase exponentially across the globe. You are seeing people, everyday people, having extraordinary experiences. So this is all, I do believe really that when we take a step back and we look at what is happening to the planet in several hundred years' time, I have to say I think that CE5 is just one very small part of the awakening process. There's a global awakening going on. This is not just the CE5 movement, this is a variety, a multitude of different topics, and it's quite a mind-blowing time in our race's evolution. So very exciting. So where it comes to our small neck of the woods, the CE5 community, we're going to try something exciting tonight. I'll come on to a little bit of that in a minute. But just to touch on a couple of the things that Dr. Greer's mentioned over the years, and this is not to be taken as a criticism in any way of any of the global figures emerging in the disclosure movement at the moment. We celebrate all of you. We think that any whistleblower coming forward at this time is demonstrating integrity and leadership and heroics that really the world needs right now. So thank you for your bravery, thank you for your integrity, and keep going. Now, in terms of some of the things that have been happening in the course of the past couple of months, we've had Lou Elizondo's book Imminent come out. For those of you that haven't read this, I'd strongly advise you to read it. Lou comes across, whenever you've seen an interview, he comes across as a lovely guy who's had a quite extraordinary life and an extraordinary set of experiences. When you read it, your heart really goes out to him. I think he experienced exceptional bullying at school, the likes of which are just extraordinary, really. And it's really tragic hearing of some of the aspects of his upbringing. But he comes across as a wonderful, intelligent, kind-hearted man. But that you have to say that certainly, I mean, if you take an example of sort of chapter 2 as an example, some of the things that are referenced as happening in Brazil, the threat narrative is ever present. Now, the threat narrative globally, there was general concern for a long time about the possibility of a hoaxed invasion. No, that hasn't come across. Do I think that's likely to happen now? I think that's extremely unlikely, to be honest. But I think it's extremely unlikely because of the efforts of people like Dr. Greer for raising attention that could take place. I don't think that is going to happen now, but the threat narrative that exists, that you're seeing coming out of various whistleblowers that we are going to see more of, serves a purpose, and that purpose is to justify the secrecy and justify the illegal black budget spend. Now, at this point, I think it's very important that the community understands a couple of things. Number one, we can't have our cake and eat it as well. You can't have disclosure without quite a profound embracing of something, which is forgiveness. You can't go after the people that have been keeping this secret and we can't treat them like criminals, because more than anything else, I think what needs to happen now is people need to put themselves in the situation of people that have been on the inside of this cover-up. That's absolutely critical. Consider, US servicemen and women, people working on the inside of some of these big aerospace companies. It's entirely likely that now nobody obviously has been in their jobs for 80 years. So what you're going to seeing is a huge number of these people on the inside of this all who are dealing with legacy orders and legacy contracts. So what does that even mean? What does that mean, and what does it mean in practical terms? Well, it means very simply that they have inherited orders that were made decades ago. They didn't make them. It's highly unlikely their bosses made them. They have inherited them, and they have been preserving the status quo. So this whole generation in at the moment. And one of the things I'm hearing from my contacts frequently is nobody on the inside of this really understands why this is being kept secret. This is not in the human race's interest now for any of this to be kept secret. But as I said, one of our responsibilities as a community is now to consider things from their point of view. Consider what it must be like for them, the pressure that they're under to keep this all a secret, to try not to get it to leak out. And to consider, if you were, say, for example, this is a very good, useful exercise, to put yourself in the situation of a chief executive officer who's running one of these aerospace companies that have been outsourced to. Now, your role as a CEO is to deliver value to shareholders, profit to shareholders. That's why you're in the post, and keep delivering that flow of profit. Now, if the profit that company is earning when you come into that job is from a legacy contract signed decades ago, and the organization that gave it to you has become one of your biggest clients, I'm telling you right now, there is no way on earth that anyone coming into that post as a CEO in a senior capacity is going to terminate those contracts, no matter how ugly the ramifications of that contract might be. It's their job to ensure they keep delivering that value to shareholders. So they're not going to comply with this whole movement until their position is protected in law. And that is where the Schumer Amendment comes in, because one of the key purposes of that, and the redraft that's going on at the moment, fingers crossed, is that is going to afford protection for whistleblowers, and specifically what is critically important is it grants immunity from prosecution for the people on the inside of that, and specifically US citizens at anywhere imaginable. It'd be an aerospace company on the inside of the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the CIA, wherever. Now, if those people are given legitimate immunity from prosecution, I think you're going to see the floodgates of this open, and we will finally achieve what we all want, which is the human race to finally be able to move forward properly. No more secrecy. Without that, I don't think it's going to happen. I think the other issue that goes on behind the scenes is how you release this information positively without crashing the global economy. How do we realistically move to preserve a monetary system. And no, we can wax lyrical for hours within the CE5 community that's to suggest that actually, God, no, we need to get rid of fiat currency and money, full stop. But separate to that, being practical, being realistic, that's going to take generations, decades to achieve that, or even conceptualize how that is possible. It's not going to happen overnight, and that's another, I think, a key component of disclosure and coming up with a solution. How do we go to an interim period where we can phase out all of these things in favor of 100% free energy and have that built into our economy? And that is a challenge. It's going to be a challenge for economists. It's going to be a challenge for risk managers looking at different economic systems, and it's not going to happen overnight. So I think that we will achieve disclosure. I personally feel that that's going to be between 3 to 5 years from now, but I think it's going to take a concerted multinational effort. It's going to involve the financial system and the financial community, and we as a community have got to embrace this idea of forgiveness. We are starting to see that when people have come forward from the inside, David Gush, Lou Elizondo. These people are, and rightly should be, embraced as heroes. They've taken an extraordinary risk. They've had threats made against them. And we now need to take that same position with everybody that comes forward, no matter what their rank, title, or serial number. They need to be embraced. I mean, they need to be forgiven. And we can't pursue this. You can't have your cake and eat it. You can't treat these people in an adversarial fashion and expect there to be disclosure. So we as a community embrace the forgiveness, and then we can all one day and gloriously move on. So moving on from there, as I mentioned, we're obviously excited to welcome Dr. Greer tomorrow. So tonight, what is the purpose of tonight? Well, a month from now, we're going to be getting guests on. There's an awful lot of people who deserve to be really celebrated at the moment. I want to give a couple of really big mentions. In the course of the past 5 years, we've had some people that have come forward that have demonstrated extraordinary leadership, courage. UK is blessed to have an awful lot of, a significant number more interest from women than there is from men. I know that sounds extraordinary, but it's true. Potentially representative. I know this might be cheesy for some, but it does very much support the theory of the Age of Aquarius. And one of the hallmarks of the Age of Aquarius is female leadership, women coming to the fore more. And the UK, I'm very pleased to say, has demonstrated that quite significantly. So if we look to name the people that deserve to be given total credit here, we have to look at people like Maxine Sinclair in Scotland, who did such a great job organising the CE5 Scotland Meets group. Holly Ann Wood, who did an amazing job in the Northwest and just literally came along, grabbed it by the scruff of the neck and just took everybody out. Did an amazing job and has gone on to amazing things. So she's clearly following her intuition and following her internal guidance to lead her where she's ultimately supposed to be going. And that's happened for a lot of people, that they've come into the movement on a sort of short to mid-term basis and then followed their radar that is leading them somewhere else. So we're very lucky to have those people, even if only for a short time. On top of that, at the moment, we've got a lot of activity going on in both CE5 Leicester and CE5 Eastbourne and Brighton, or Brighton and Eastbourne, I can't remember. And obviously there's the people there that need to be given a shout out, who they're doing such amazing work at the moment. So down in Brighton on the south coast, we've got Ingrid Gibson and Stephen Judge, who have been absolutely phenomenal as team leads. They've got it, they've whipped it all into shape, they've got people get it going out on a regular basis. And then in CE5 Leicester, we're having some absolutely amazing things coming out of CE5 Leicester at the moment. Chris Mackin has done a fantastic job there. Very driven young man, which is just wonderful. I wish we had energy like that all over the country. Has gone out. They've taken video footage recently, so if you haven't seen this, have a look in now because obviously I don't own this footage, nor would I want to really. It is the responsibility of people who own this to get out and share it. You've got to do your own PR. You've got to get out. You've got to share this. Try and get it out on Twitter if you can. Get it out on Instagram. Get it out on through all the different Facebook groups. But bear in mind that if you feed it in through different CE5 groups, both whether that's on Facebook or Instagram, you're you're preaching to the converted here. So it's a better idea to drop this footage in to areas where you know there are going to be a lot more skeptics, and yes, there are going to be trolls there. So I'm specifically talking here more than anything else about the home of the troll, good old Twitter, or sorry, X as it's called now. So yeah, get that footage out there. People need to be seeing this. The stuff that CE5 Leicester have just taken. I know Chris is going through an exercise at the moment where he's trying to involve members of the scientific community to take an interest and look at this. And I do think the community is there at the moment. We do need scientific support. We need representatives of physics faculties, representatives of neuroscience faculties to come in and start assessing this. I do think we're going to get support from the international anthropological community soon, because I do think you're going to start to see a lot more serious scientific anthropological work conducted on contact stories that have come out of the indigenous communities, the Native American Indians, the Hopi, the Dogon, the Zulu, a variety of tribes in South America. I do think you're going to get that, because the shared DNA here is extraordinary. These people have had no contact, and yet invariably the consciousness contact stories that are emerging from these are all identical. Now these people all have a very similar set of belief systems. So they believe that the planet is sentient, it is a live living being. They believe in the principle that mirrors both the Hindu Taoist principle of the third eye, the energy center. This idea that the physical body is composed of organs, is components, in their organs and a skeletal system and stuff. But so is the etheric form is composed of components as well, whether you call those chakra, energy centers, dantian, or any one of other naming conventions that exist. They're all amount to the same thing, in my humble opinion, anyway. So you're going to start to see that scientific support coming through. But as I said, going back to the point I made, the work being done and has been done historically by UK teams is really quite significant. In some parts of the country, we've had some very successful teams that have unfortunately fallen by the wayside. We had Jamie Basil's team in Bristol for years and years, were probably one of the most successful in the country, but they have, Jamie has lost a lot of interest, sadly, in this. He's had a lot of contact over the years with, I think, Dr. Greer's team, Dr. Burke's, and he is and has been a contactee since a very young age, which he's had to come to terms with. So across the UK, some of the teams have had some quite extraordinary experiences, although you will remain nameless, because I know that I have not, I promised you that I would keep this secret, but there was one team leader down on the south coast of England that had a being materialise right in front of him. It left him in a deep state of shock for quite some time. This specific individual is someone I trust implicitly. He's had extraordinary amount of responsibility and is scientifically trained. So these are the types of experiences that are taking place. For those new to the movement who want to come in and have experiences, I would say if you can go out with a team that's already set up, that's going to save a lot of time. Team leaders have to consider how best to integrate you into the team. And that means how to bring you in without disrupting the harmony or the cohesion that exists there. It's always a balancing act. If you're going into an established team, I would say obviously, and I apologise for saying something that probably shouldn't be said anyway. It's just embrace humility. Don't try and run it when you go in. Don't try and sort of force your position on anyone. Get to know everybody over a period of time and try and integrate into that team. Alternatively, if you're a very driven person anyway and you don't think that necessarily going into an existing team is right for you, that's absolutely fair enough as well. Set up a new team. There's training on YouTube in our YouTube channel. I've always found it best for people that are coming in, if they are from either the nuts and bolts community or they're brand new to CE5, having just seen it on Amazon Prime or something, then to treat this like you're building a sports team is a really good idea. For a lot of people new to the movement, they get lost when we start using a lot of the spiritual terminology, or the CE5, more CE5 terminology. So drawing that analogy of a group that can achieve an expanded state of consciousness together and then achieve a goal off the back of that is quite important. And if you watch the training, I've given it plenty of examples of this before. So the examples of teams that meditate together went on to winning things. The most famous example, obviously, is the Chicago Bulls. The other one that is very famous in the past couple of years, the Golden State Warriors. In the UK, if you look at football teams, Leicester football team, no great surprise, you've got CE5 Leicester excelling at the moment. They won the Premiership, and one of the potential reasons you can attribute that to is the fact they were all meditating together. The Seattle Seahawks, I believe, in 2016, US NFL team won the Super Bowl. Again, whole year on the run up to that, they were meditating together. So you can see that when a group of people come together and they start to learn how to expand the consciousness, amazing things are possible. They really are. So give that a go. Now, I think I've waffled on more than enough, and I promised I would keep this to try to keep to about 20 minutes for the meditation. So briefly to say before we start the meditation is that there is another global meditation tomorrow morning. A lovely person called Igraine regularly posts into Facebook and on the CE5 Midlands group about joining in a global meditation with everyone in different time zones at the same time. Wonderful idea. Really do believe that is a worthwhile endeavour, especially if it's in the name of peace. So I would strongly recommend you join that. That tomorrow morning in the UK is at about 10 a.m. UK time. But follow Igraine's posts on the group. She posts in both the CE5 UK group, CE5 Midlands, and a couple of the other international groups as well. So that I think is really worth supporting. It's just 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. Lovely time to go and do it. It's nice and quiet, and it's a great, nice, peaceful time to get going. But yeah, so what I would say is let's get cracking on this now. Now, just as a brief explanation to people sort of relatively new to CE5, what I'm going to do with this, I'm going to turn my camera off in a minute. What I want you to do to start off with is I want you to find a really relaxing, comfortable place to sit. Ideally sitting upright if you can, because 9 times out of 10 I know when I've done a meditation lying down, I almost always end up falling asleep. It's only at 8:30 on Saturday night. I don't know how many middle-aged people are watching this, but if you're anything like me, if you lie down you probably will fall asleep. So what I would say is find a nice upright position. We're going to start off, we're going to break this down. We're going to follow a couple of set embraced parts of the CE5 process. So what the most important part of the CE5 process is arguably something called coherent thought sequencing. For those new to this, what that basically means is you are visualizing your location from space. Now, because we've already give everybody a landmark for this, that's going to be quite easy. But the other components of a good CE5, you should always have a protection built in. Protection because we are effectively getting involved in something that we don't ultimately fully understand. So in the same way you get in a car, you put a seatbelt on because that's a recommended and accepted safety practice. You don't put the seatbelt on because you're expecting to have an accident. You put it on because it's an accepted practice. So we will do a protective measure. We will do a grounding measure. We will probably do a mild energy center cleanse, and then we will do the actual contact part of this. So just to reiterate tonight, what we're trying to achieve is contact in the sky immediately over the Olympic Stadium. We're going to focus our intention as a group, all of us, on the Olympic Stadium, and we're going to ask for contact in the skies over that. If it is safe for them to come. If it is not safe for them to come, no contact. But if it is safe for them to come, we are asking that they come to see us as soon as possible. So yeah, so let's begin. So as I said, I'm going to turn my camera off now, and I am going to, if you can all basically just get into a comfortable upright position. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get you to relax. We want you to achieve a deep sense of relaxation. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off by concentrating on different parts of our body from the toes to the ground up. And we're going to take our time. So we're going to take probably at least 10 minutes on this next bit, which is both breathing and a relaxation meditation to get us into the right place for this. So to start off with, if I can ask you all to take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. And then take another deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. And keep doing this, and I want you to start filling up your lungs every time you do it, and breathing out slowly. So really deep breath in, and then breathing that out again through your nose, really slowly. Now, keep doing that again, in through the nose, out through the mouth. And next time round, when you breathe in through the nose, I want you to hold it for a few seconds, hold your breath, and then release slowly through your mouth. So get into this cycle now. You're breathing in through your nose to fill up your lungs, holding it for a few seconds once you get there, and then releasing slowly. And keep this cycle up. So you're breathing in through your nose, out through your mouth, with a hold built in there. So now, as you're going through this cycle, so you breathe in, you hold, you release, I want you to start introducing a count into this. So the count of 5, so you breathe into the count of 5, so 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, and then you hold it, and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, and release, and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, and keep doing that. Do that another 2 more cycles like that. And now when you're ready, I want you to try going for the count of 6. If you don't feel comfortable with that, stick at the count of 5. But I want you to do another 2 cycles. So breathe in, hold, breathe out to the count of 5, then breathe in, hold, breathe out again, all to the count of 5 or 6. So now, when you're ready, I want you to visualize something for me. Again, what you want you to do is carry on with this breathing cycle. So keep up with the 5 in, 5 hold, 5 release. Keep that up. But what I want you to do on top of that is I want you to visualize yourself inside a blue sphere. So you're protected inside a blue sphere. See yourself in the middle of that blue sphere. Nothing negative at all can touch you inside that blue sphere. And once you've visualized yourself tightly inside that sphere, I want you to go back to your breathing and try a cycle of 5 or 6, whichever suits. Now I want you to concentrate on your toes. I want you to tense up all the muscles in your feet really tightly. And you're starting off with your toes, and hold on to that tension and then release. Let that tension go. and feel that relaxation now in part of your feet. Now moving up slowly, I want you to tense all the muscles from your ankle and the rest of your feet as hard as you can without hurting yourself. Hold on to the tension, feel that tension, and release. And feel that feeling of relaxation spreading all the way around your feet now. Now, when you're ready, moving up to your lower legs, I want you to tense all your calf muscles if you can, your lower leg muscles, and your shin muscles if possible, all the muscles in your lower leg between your knees and your ankles. Tense them, hold on to that tension as much as you can without hurting yourself. And now release and feel that relaxation moving further up your legs. Now we're going to move on to the area around your knees. If you can, tense your knees and hold on to that tension. Another couple of seconds, hold on to that tension and release. Release that. Feel that relaxation out. Everything below your knees is completely relaxed. And now move up to your upper legs, or everything, all your muscles on the front of your legs between your knees and your hips. Tense everything you can in your legs, in the front and the backs if you can. Everything, hold on to that tension and release it. And feel the relaxation. All of your legs are now completely relaxed. And now moving up to the area around your waist, I want you to tense all the muscles in and around your buttocks and all of your waist. Tense it, hold on to that tension, hold on for another second, 2 seconds, and release all that tension. And again, that relaxing feeling is moving further up your body. Now we're going to move on to our belly and all the muscles in our lower torso, and tense everything in your stomach and your lower chest if you can. Hold on to that tension, hold on to it another few seconds, and release. And release that tension. Feel that relaxation moving even further up your body. Now I want you to concentrate on your lower back and try and tense all the muscles in your lower back and hold on to that tension. Hold it without hurting yourself. Do not hurt yourself. And tense and release. And feel that relaxation moving even further up your body. Now we're going to move on to the area around our shoulder blades and our upper back. Now tense all of them. You can just move your shoulder blades to get to touching. Tense, 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 and release. And feel that relaxation. Now moving to the ends of your hands and to your hands itself. Clench your hands, both hands into a fist. Tense them really tight and release it. Feel that relaxation all throughout your hands now. Now between your elbow and your wrists, tense all the muscles in between now and release that. Again, the relaxation moving further still up your body. And now all the muscles in your upper arms, upper body, tense everything, and your chest muscles as well if you can. And tense it, and release. And now we're going to work our way onto your upper neck. Tense all the muscles in your upper neck and release. And before we work onto your face, go back to your breathing. Make sure you do a cycle of 5 now. Breathe in through your nose. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5. Release. 2, 3, 4, 5. And now we're going to tense all the muscles in our face. So tense all the muscles in your face and release. And that relaxation moving further still up your body. And now all the muscles, your ears, top of your head, tense everything up. One final time. Hold on to it for a few seconds and release the tension. You're now completely relaxed. I want you to go back to your breathing and concentrate on doing a cycle now another cycle of 5 or 6, and do 2 cycles of that. So breathe in, hold, release. Do that all twice for 5 or 6 seconds. By now you should be extremely relaxed. Now what I want you to do is I want you to visualize roots coming out of the base of your back and your feet, going into the earth really fast, going through all the different strata, the different levels of the earth, until they go through magma, different types of stone, soil, everything imaginable, until they get to the earth's core. And they wrap themselves tightly around the earth's core, so you are now securely fastened to the earth. And from the earth, you then call up through those roots a bright, pulsating red light. And it goes all the way up those roots, all the way to the top, until it just gets into your body at the base of your coccyx, just above your coccyx, inside your body, so the very base of your spine, but inside your body. And it pulsates with red light right there, and it recharges that area. Then from those roots around the center of the earth, you raise up an orange light, and you see a bright pulsating orange light coming up the roots, and it goes above the red light, just below your tummy button, and it starts to pulsate orange light in that area. Next, you visualize a yellow light coming straight up that vine or that root, pulsating yellow, until it gets to the area around your tummy button, and it pulsates brightly with yellow light there, recharging that area. Now you see a green light coming up those roots, coming up and pulsating green as it moves up higher, until it gets to the area of your heart, and it glows brightly green and pulsates with a regenerative light that restores you and heals you. And now you see an aquamarine color, aquamarine blue, coming up that root until it goes around the area around your throat, and it pulsates with an aquamarine light, and it regenerates and heals that area. And now you can see a royal blue coming up the root until it gets to the area around your forehead, and it pulses with a royal blue light all around that area, recharging it. And finally you see a purple light coming up the root till it gets to the area around your crown, and it pulsates, and regenerates that area. So all the energy centers in your body are now completely restored and recharged, and you are now ready. Finally, I want you to visualize, and I want you to think back in your life, and I want you to think back about 2 times specifically. I want you to think back to the first time you remember falling in love with someone else. I want you to remember exactly who it was. I want you to go back to that time. I want you to have complete recall of how you felt, how those feelings were within you. What was the sensation of those feelings? I want you to get back, and I want you to re-experience that sensation. See if you can find it within you as a physical sensation. Can you recall that physical sensation? Now, I want you to take that sensation, and I want you to lock it within that green light in your chest area, within your heart. And imagine that green area opening up with that feeling of how it felt to love someone else. And now I want you to think back to a time when you remember being loved, whether it was from a parent, a friend, or a partner, anyone at all, or an animal that you cared for. But when you can remember seeing in the eyes of something or someone, and seeing that love and how it made you feel. And I want you to think tightly and consider that feeling and that sensation. And again, I want you to lock that within your heart and allow it to feel open your heart, and how wonderful those feelings are, and how you want to give and receive that love to and back. Now that we have opened up our heart space, I want you to visualize where you are in relation to your house. And I want you to see all of your house, and any residual negative energy within your house is dispelled, and you see that rising as a dark cloud away from the area that you are in. And all negative energy is removed from this area. This area is now safe, peaceful, and light. And you enjoy being here immensely. Now, from this wonderful place, and with this blue sphere around you, I want you to visualize rising above your house, going up into the sky, and rising higher and higher through the clouds until you get to right above our country, and you can look down and see it. And as you get into space, into Earth orbit, immediately over the UK, your body starts to pulse with light. And it starts to pulse every time you breathe in. You pulse. Every time you breathe out, you pulse. And every time you breathe in, you pulse. Every time you breathe out, you're pulsing with light. All eyes in the universe can now see you. You are lit up to all other sentient life forms. And we send out a message now from our heart, from that place where you have given and received love infinitely. We are ready to make friends. We are ready to extend our hands. We are ready to learn, and we are ready to grant love. Please come to us if it is safe to do so, and follow us to the area that we wish you to show yourselves. And you can now see yourself descending from space over the UK to the area of London, and you descend specifically to the area of East London, where the Thames starts to get very narrow as it comes in from the sea. And as you descend, you see below you a ring of lights within the Olympic Stadium that is now the West Ham Stadium. And in this ring of lights, you reside about 1,000 meters above it in the air. We humbly ask you, our star friends, to now put in an appearance in the airspace immediately around us, if it is safe for you to do so. We are here, we are capable of giving love, and we want to learn, and we want to be connected to you. Please show yourselves. And your body continues to pulse with light. And as it does so, you feel these sensations of love that you have done throughout your life, of giving love and receiving love. And you slowly start to descend through the clouds to your specific area where you are, where your body is. And you go back down into your house, into your body. I now want you to do one final breathing cycle of 5 or 6. And when you are ready, start to relax and come around. And when you're ready, open your eyes. And that, my friends, was our first ever attempt at a nationwide CE5 meditation designed to ask for contact in one specific area. So the proof is in the pudding, and I'm sure that we will see, or someone will take video if it is safe for our friends to come. I'm not actually, having not looked outside the window, unfortunately it's not a clear night, so cloud cover in London is pretty bad tonight, but nothing ventured, nothing gained. So we've asked for contact in that area. It's a world of smartphones out there, so if they do turn up, I'm sure that something will be captured. But as I said, nothing ventured, nothing gained. We've also got to try this experiment where there is an active CE5 team going in. So I think probably the smart thing to do would be from next month onwards, we actually we get everybody to vote, but we vote around a specific area where we know that a C5 team is going to be in. So obviously at the moment, you've got the Northwest team are on and off quite active. The Leicester team, the Brighton team, the South East London team are active. We need more teams springing up. As I said, there used to be a thriving team in Bristol. Hampshire on and off, there's been a team. I think it's quiet now, but there has been a very successful team previously under Kevin Kane. And Neil previously has had a hand down there as well. Philip, also down on the south coast, has had some success. If memory serves, Mr. Cuxton, could be time to get your guys out again if they're willing. For everybody going tomorrow, I am really looking forward to seeing you. And for a lot of you, it's been the first time that I'll get a chance to meet you for the first time. Really looking forward to that. Have a safe trip down. I do hope you've enjoyed this evening. I certainly have, and next month I promise you it'll be a little bit more stimulating because we're going to get guests on. We're going to talk about invite some of the UK teams on to talk about their experiences and what they've learned, and share some of that wisdom and knowledge. But as I said, I've really enjoyed talking to you tonight. Have a lovely evening and enjoy the rest of your weekend if you're not coming tomorrow.